Hello everyone and welcome back to my Bold and Beautiful 29 YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers reveal that Paris Buckingham's confidence could waver as her marriage day gets near. Although Paris is a completely devoted bridegroom right now, that doesn't mean she wouldn't have dubieties at some point during the preamble to the espousal. Paris knows what it's like to be with a man who actually wants someone differently. B&B suckers will recall that Paris went through that with Carter Walton when Quinn Fuller crashed their marriage to steal him back. Still, it could be Paris who blows up her own espousal this time around. Could Paris leave Thomas Forrester at the balcony and decide she can't go through with this marriage after all? In the occurrences leading up to Thomas and Paris' marriage form, she might gain new reasons to believe he's still stuck on Hope. Logan Paris might indeed get a call from Zoe Buckingham, who faced her own failed marriage to Thomas because he was hung up on Hope. There are plenitude of ways for Paris to start changing her view on her bachelor and whether this marriage to Thomas can really be successful. Thomas seems convinced that he can just trade Paris for Hope and have a happy ending, but it surely wouldn't be that simple. There may be a turning point brewing for Paris, who could eventually wise up and realize it's a bad idea to be rushing into this union. Will Thomas find himself crushed and lowered when Paris can't give him the marriage commitment she's promised? Could Hope press Thomas over his bifurcation in an intriguing twist? Grounded on our prognostications, Thomas and Paris' marriage wouldn't go off without a hitch. Despite Paris and Thomas' current bliss, their relationship could fluently fall piecemeal by the time the espousal be. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say Paris could make some updates to her way of allowing ultimately, so stick with us for further marriage-related news as drama looms. Indicate that Brook Logan knows that Hope Logan doesn't want to be like her. Thomas Forrester talks to Ridge Forrester and Eric Forrester about his marriage. Luna Nozawa plans her party and is happy with Bill Spencer and Poppy Nozawa. Paul Hollister starts to get Tom Starr's bag when Deacon Sharp calls for him. Brook Logan off Hope Logan support. Brook tells Hope how selfish she was when she was youngish. Brook understands why Hope no way wanted to be like her, and she understands. Brook urges Hope to let go of Thomas and support his engagement to Paris Buckingham. Hope says what Brook says is true, she doesn't understand why she didn't see it before now. Brook knows that Hope wants to find the love of her life. Hope says, like you and Ridge? Brook says the idealized interpretation. Brook and Ridge have had their issues. Hope will find the love of her life, but it cannot be John Finnegan. Hope says she isn't a homewrecker. Thomas Forrester returns to France. Thomas addresses about having the marriage by the pool with everyone in their bathing suits. Eric agrees and starts planning on what to wear. Thomas knows that Hope is still worried. Thomas is sorry that Hope was hurt by all of this. Thomas doesn't want his happiness to come at Hope's expenditure. Thomas plans to head back overseas with Paris and Douglas. Ridge goes to Forrester and addresses with Brook. Ridge says he'd a good talk with his son. Brook believes Hope has had a change of heart. Thomas stops in to speak with Hope, who apologizes and tells him that he merited better than what she gave him. Thomas says Hope doesn't have to apologize. Hope aloud. Thomas had come back to her. Hope says if Thomas wants a future with Paris, also, she wishes him the stylish. Hope wishes this to be everlasting and awful. Thomas is heading back to France. Hope understands that their son has a home in France that he loves. Thomas wouldn't take Douglas down from her. Thomas knows a lot of guys are going to come calling, and Thomas wants Hope to make it work no matter what. Thomas leverages Hope and leave Bill. Spencer wants Luna Nozawa to work for him. Bill orders caviar for himself, Luna, and Poppy. Bill wants to give them everything the world has to offer. Poppy is surprised that Luna went to Spencer Publications with Bill. Bill tries to bait Luna down from Forrester. Luna has always been interested in fashion, but Spencer Publication was instigative. Bill tells Luna that Spencer Publications is her birthright. Bill wants Luna to have everything she deserves out of life. Bill can't suppose of anyone differently he'd want for a son, he's so proud of Luna. Bill wants to know if Luna still wants him to borrow her. Luna and Bill are both ready to get on with the relinquishment. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers recap for Thursday, July 11th, reveals that Brook Logan pushed Hope Logan to let Thomas Forrester go and support his engagement to Paris Buckingham still. Brook also advised Hope that John Finnegan was ain't the man for her. Hope said she knew and that she was ain't a homewrecker, so Brook sounded satisfied as she hugged her son. At the Forrester estate, Eric Forrester assured Thomas that he was looking forward to the marriage and said he could ain't stay to drink Paris to the family. No matter what date Thomas and Paris decided on, Eric was glad to be hosting the espousal. Thomas abominated that Hope was feeling so misplaced and sounded to feel a bit responsible, but Ridge Forrester suggested it was ain't his son's fault. After Thomas mentioned that he was heading back overseas with Paris and Douglas Forrester, Ridge and Eric understood that they had to do what was stylish for them. Latterly, Ridge set up Brook at Forrester Creations and said he'd a great talk with his son, so Brook admitted she had a good talk with Hope, too. Brook was more hopeful about getting through to Hope and agreed with Ridge about wanting everyone to be happy. In the design office on Thursday's B&B occasion, Thomas showed up to let Hope know his plans. Hope cut Thomas out since she believed she owed him a reason for handling his engagement news so inadequately. Once Hope said she was truly sorry and that Thomas merited better from her, he told her there was no need to apologize. Thomas understood why Hope replied the way she did and didn't hold it against her. Hope claimed that if Thomas really wanted a future with Paris, also, she wished him the stylish. As Hope got choked up, she said perhaps it was all meant to be, and if so, also she hoped what Thomas had with Paris was everlasting and awful. Thomas said that meant a lot to him before revealing that he was heading back to France with Douglas and Paris. Hope wished she could be spent further time with Douglas, but she knew he'd a home in France now and was sure they could work it all out. Thomas promised that he'd no way take Douglas down from Hope and eventually reached for her hand. Once Thomas said he was really sorry for everything, he hoped she understood why he'd to move on with his life. Thomas knew Hope would move on too, so he told her to pick the right Joe and prompted her to promise that she'd make it work no matter what. After Thomas said farewell, Hope told him farewell as well and stood there crying as he left. At Il Giardino, Papi Nozawa tried caviar for the first time as Luna Nozawa explained that Italian caviar in particular was one of the stylish in the world. Luna had learned that from Bill Spencer, who wanted his new family to witness all the finer effects in life. Luna also admitted to taking a trip to Spencer Publications lately and was keeping an open mind about her career, so Bill was happy about that since it was her birthright. Bill got evidence that Luna still wanted him to borrow her, so they partake a sweet clinch at their table. In the Force closet, Paul Hollister noticed the fluttering lights and was about to look inside Tom Starr's pack when Deacon Sharp called for another case of wine. Hollis left the pack, but he was detracted on the job and told Deacon that he couldn't stop wondering why Tom overdosed that night. Soon later, Hollis went back to the Force closet, where the lights continued to flitter. Once Hollis opened up Tom's pack, he pulled out a manila envelope that was filled with letters, presumably the bones. Poppy had returned to Tom. Hollis stood there looking puzzled as he held the mound of letters, so he was easily trying to make sense of what he'd set up. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say Hollis could face a grim fate following his rearmost discovery, so stick with us for further prognostications on the riddle and updates on the fallout for Hollis.